From Pacifica, this is Democracy Now!
We are still in a very difficult situation. 1 month after that, we still have 1 million of people on the streets. We still don't have a clear vision of a certain problem, clear how we are going to relocate all those people.
1 month after the earthquake in Haiti, the official death toll is now at 230,000, on par with the tsunami. Over 1 million are homeless. We'll go to Port-au-Prince to get the latest. And we'll speak with actor and activist Danny Glover. He's just back from South Africa, where he met with ousted Haitian President Jean-Bertrand Aristide. Then a controversy is brewing over the Simon Wiesenthal Center's plans to build a museum of tolerance over an historic Muslim cemetery in Jerusalem. Palestinian families have filed a petition with the United Nations in Geneva. All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The Obama administration says it's moving forward with a new round of sanctions against Iran. At a White House news conference, President Obama criticized Iran for shunning a fuel swap proposal and said international support is growing for sanctions.
We are confident right now that the international community is unified around Iran's misbehavior in this area. How China operates at the Security Council as we pursue sanctions is something that we're going to have to see. One thing I'm pleased about is to see how forward-leaning the Russians have been on this issue.
Iran says the U.S. and other Western nations are at fault for the stalled fuel swap proposal. The Washington Post, meanwhile, reports the Obama administration's preparing a new offer that would assist Iran in buying medical isotopes on the international market instead of operating a reactor. In Haiti, the official death toll from last month's earthquake has been revised to over 230,000. The Haitian government made the announcement with the warning that more bodies remain uncounted. The revised toll puts the Haitian earthquake on par with the 2004 Asian tsunami. On Tuesday, Haitian Prime Minister Jean-Max Berive said his government still has no way to house more than 1 million people left homeless by the quake.
We are still in a very difficult situation. 1 month after that, we still have 1 million of people on the streets. We still don't have a clear vision of a certain problem, clear how we are going to relocate all those people.
As the death toll was revised, dozens of Haitian women held a protest Tuesday calling for speedier aid. Marching in the capital Port-au-Prince, the women carried signs reading, "We need food," and "We need tents." In other Haiti news, the Miami Herald reports at least 2 politically connected U.S. firms have begun jockeying for lucrative reconstruction contracts. The firms, the Florida-based Ashbrit and DRC Group of Alabama, have already held separate meetings with Haitian President René Préval. Ashbrit has attracted controversy for a $900 million government contract after Hurricane Katrina. Critics say Ashbrit was favored over local contractors, in part for its donations to influential political lobbyists. We'll have more on Haiti after headlines. We'll be speaking with Danny Glover. In Iraq, the U.S. military has freed an imprisoned Iraqi journalist after almost a year and a half behind bars. Ibrahim Jassam Mohammed was seized when U.S. and Iraqi forces raided his home in September of 2008. Soldiers took his computer, hard drive, and cameras and led him away handcuffed and blindfolded. The U.S. held Jassam without charge despite an Iraqi court order for his release. He is one of several Iraqi journalists jailed at length by the U.S. without ever facing charges. Following his release earlier today, Jassam said, quote, "How can I describe my feelings? This is like being born again." In Afghanistan, the NATO occupation force is warning Afghan civilians ahead of one of the largest military offensives of the 8-year war. U.S.-led NATO forces and the Afghan military are expected to target the Taliban-controlled town of Marja in the coming days. In a news briefing, NATO civilian representative Mark Sedwill said Afghan villagers should stay inside and, quote, "keep their heads down." India's put a halt to plans to allow genetically modified eggplant from the agri-giant Monsanto to be sold on the Indian market. On Tuesday, the Indian government reversed a decision to allow Monsanto to sell its eggplant crop known as BT brinjal. It would have been India's first genetically modified food crop and the world's first commercially cultivated genetically modified vegetable. On Capitol Hill, 2 Democratic senators have joined with Republicans to block the nomination of a union lawyer to serve on the National Labor Relations Board. The attorney, Craig Becker, has worked for the AFL-CIO and the Service Employees International Union. By a 52-33 vote, Democrats fell short of the 60 needed to overcome a Republican filibuster. Democratic Senators Ben Nelson of Nebraska, Blanche Lincoln of Arkansas voted with the Republicans. Both had come under intense lobbying to oppose Becker from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and other corporate lobbyists. In Texas, dozens of prisoners have gone on a hunger strike at Los Fresnos immigration jail in protest of inhumane conditions. It's at least the second major hunger strike at the Port Isabel Detention Center in less than a year. On Tuesday, independent journalist Renee Feltz spoke to immigrant rights activist Anianza Garza of the Southwest Workers Union. Garza recounted an interaction with Immigration and Customs Enforcement Field Office Director Phyllis Coven. Garza was attending a meeting with Coven when she received a phone call from one of the hunger-striking prisoners.
At that point, I told her, there's a hunger striker on the phone right now. He's on hunger strike at the Port Isabel Detention Center. I put it on speakerphone, and I took it to her, and I put it in front of her, and I told him, you know, tell her what's happening. You have Phyllis Colvin right now in front of you. She's listening to what you're saying. At that point, like, she picked up the phone, and she was going to close it, and I told her, please don't hang up on him. He has to pay for that phone call. That's, you know, please don't hang up on him. And then at that point, both Michael J. Pitts and Phyllis Colvin got up, and they left, and they turned their back on the community.
And another U.S. activist has been blocked from entering Canada to cover the Vancouver Winter Olympics. John Weston Osborne of Salt Lake City says he was detained, searched, and denied entry after trying to cross over into Canada.
I was expecting to get kind of shook down, but I wasn't expecting the type of just the animosity and the humiliation. Even though it was only 2 hours, it was a really unsettling experience because they made me well aware that I had no rights and that there was no one there to protect me.
Osborne's ordeal comes days after Canadian border officials blocked Chicago radio journalist Martin Macias from entering Canada because he was planning to spend a week documenting anti-Olympic protests. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Well, it's been